Zambia beat out these players and teams to win their first ever Africa Cup of Nations title in 2012. And they did it with these guys? 2012 ended up being a wild year, but on the 12th of February, we saw one of the biggest underdog stories in international football history. Zambia had never been a constant name in international football, having never qualified for a FIFA World Cup in their 14 attempts over 52 years. In African football, they also struggled, qualifying for 15 AFCON tournaments in 25 attempts. There was one occasion where Zambians were truly proud of the performance shown by their national team. In 1994, they were runners-up in that year's AFCON tournament. Impressive, and only the second time the nation placed that high. What was more impressive is that the Zambian team was completely new and formed only in the previous year. In 1993, the Zambian national team travelled by plane to face Senegal for a World Cup qualifier. Disastrously, the plane crashed, killing all the players, coaches and crew members on board, leaving no survivors. Zambia have not been consistent performers, and even with the extended setup of the upcoming AFCON tournament, they are still unable to qualify for the extra 8 spots available. With the tournament being hosted in Gabon and Equatorial Guinea, a return for this Zambian squad to the area in which the disaster of 1993 occurred would always be emotionally charged. They came into the tournament as 10th favourites of the 16 qualified teams. They were the 9th highest team in the FIFA standings of those nations qualified, and the odds were stacked against them from the start. Only 4 of the 23 players called up to this Zambia team played their football outside Africa. This number is only seen lower in Libya, Sudan and the Botswana squads that played in the 2012 AFCON tournament. Compared to the 3 favourites of this year's tournament, the difference is incredibly drastic. However, the Zambian squad boasted an interesting selection of players of their own. Goalkeeper Kennedy Mwebe is a charismatic goalkeeper who is a fantastic shot stopper. Stofira Sunzu is a centre-back with a key eye for goal. Emmanuel Mayuka is one of 2 players currently playing in the European League. He has been performing well for young boys and has been contributing to their progress in the Europa League. And with Christopher Katongo leading the line, the Zambians had experience spearheading their attack. The man behind the tactics was Hervé Renard. Renard now in his second stint as the Zambian manager. His previous stint led to a respectable quarter-finals finish in AFCON 2010, their longest run in the tournament for 14 years. Renard now returned for a second spell in charge on a 1-year contract. Renard understood the strengths of his players and set them up to bring the best out of them. A fast, counter-attacking team with a ruthless defensive wall protecting them. Their energy and refusal to give up looked to propel them through this tournament and restore some faith in the nation. Zambia were drawn into Group A alongside co-hosts Equatorial Guinea, the tournament's 3rd favourite Senegal and Libya. The first game would be against big favourite Senegal. Renard educated his players on their opponent's formidable strike partnership. Papi Cisse and Demba Ba had been ruining defences and would soon link up for Newcastle on Tyneside and form an even deadlier club partnership than they had at international level. Zambia set up a low block and invited the Senegalese attack forward. The Zambians would pounce on any and every opportunity to counter their opponents and were able to score twice through Mayuka and Kalaba in a surprising 2-1 win. A familiar scoreline for Senegal, who would lose twice more to this scoreline and finish their 2012 AFCON appearance with 0 points and bottom of Group A. A 2-2 draw with Libya would lead to a crucial and unlikely battle for top spot with Equatorial Guinea. Zambia would come out on top after a 1-0 win with a goal from Katongo, giving them the advantage of facing the second place team in Group B, Sudan, in the A less than impressive Sudan team would not put up much of a fight as Zambia ran riot, winning 3-0. The major talking point coming from this game, however, was the fact that it was the second lowest attended game of the entire tournament. Only 200 spectators watched this powerful Zambian team march through this knockout stage, with goals from Sunzu, a third of the tournament from Katongo, with Chamanga wrapping up the scoring, putting through Zambia to face Ghana in the tournament's second favourites when it came to the bookies. However, Ghana were astronomical in those years. They were 2 years removed from an outstanding World Cup campaign, which was ended by a Luis Suarez handball and subsequent Asamoah Gyan missed penalty. This Ghanaian team had stolen the hearts of the world during that tournament and were looking to progress in this tournament. Ghana had just endured a brutal 120 minutes of football against Tunisia 3 days prior to their semi-final matchup with Zambia. Renard's men withstood 90 minutes of Ghanaian attacking pressure, with large help to the safe hands and brave play of Mweni, who seemed impenetrable at the time. In the 78th minute, Mayuka's third of the tournament would settle the tie, as Zambia left behind another of the competition's favourites, as they stomped on to meet the final boss standing in the way of their first ever AFCON title in the In their way stood the golden generation of the Ivory Coast, an African team that may never be replicated based on the sheer amount of high quality, high achieving and successful footballers that they possessed. Despite winning the 1992 edition of the Africa Cup of Nations, the success of the national team would flourish in the 2000s, qualifying for their first ever World Cup experiences in 3 consecutive years, from 2006 to 2014. The careers of Didier Drogba and Yaya Touré are so sensational that they need no explanation. However, the careers of Kolo Touré, Gervinho, Kalou, Eboué, Tiote and Zokora are not to be undermined either. This team was stacked with top footballing experience with players in their late 20s or early 30s. They already had glittered careers, and they have come into the final of this tournament without conceding a goal yet. The Zambian team were aware of the magnitude of their opposition, some true Goliaths of world football, but this did not faze them. Instead, the team were motivated to play up to their opponent's level and beat them. Fitness, commitment, togetherness, and unity would help Zambia win this game. A strong, sturdy Zambian defence held their opposition well, frustrating Drogba and Touré. The fittest team in the tournament were able to work throughout the game. As Gervinho runs into the box, Isaac Chansa bundles into the back of him. The ref points towards the spot. Didier Drogba, the Ivorian captain, steps up. He has already scored 3 goals in this tournament, and if this goes in, it would surely kill all Zambian hopes. He shoots and it sails over the bar. Unbelievable. Mwini celebrates towards Drogba, and the game continues with the pressure continually mounting on the Ivorians. They had not done anything but disappoint on the international stage with their so-called golden generation. Unlike their opponents, this seemed to be the last chance for the golden generation to step up on the international stage. But for Zambia, nobody expected anything from them. They were playing without fear. As the 90 came to an end, the following 30 of extra time dragged as both teams continued to battle it out without any breakthrough from either team. The dreaded penalty shootout followed. With Ivory Coast already missing a penalty in the game, they were sure to be nervous about the upcoming moments. The walk from the centre circle to the penalty spot is a lonely and treacherous journey. As 40,000 cramped spectators held their breath, the shootout would seemingly never end. Through the TV coverage of the penalty shootout, fans at home were able to hear the singing of the Zambian substitutes bench. After 18 minutes and 18 penalties, the match had been decided. The scuffed effort from Gervinho, followed up by a calm effort from defender Sunzu, who exploded into a heartwarming celebration with his teammates. History had been made. That was their day, their moment, their legacy, built on incredible highs, inspired by tremendous lows. Hervé Renard would dedicate the win to those that lost their lives in the plane accident of 1993. The members of this squad would not go on to have incredible careers outside of Africa, but the win would lead to a few players moving to Europe with different clubs. The real impact would be on the inspiration they had on future players. Players like Patson Daka, Fashion Sakala, Enoch Mwepu, Edward Chilufya, and Emmanuel Banda are now all playing in Europe and performing at high levels. They are hoping to one day emulate the performances of the 2012 Kings of Africa. If you want to find out about another upcoming nation, check out this video of Canada's meteoric rise in men's football.